Mundo ult also available. Smolder ult is alright, I would say. So there is a decent assortment of ultimates to for Sylas to use this game. Now, this is still a bit of a mishmash of champions when it comes to this Ragebaiter, where the enemy mid laner is just unable to match your sustain in general. So that just means you have that extra time on the map that the enemy mid laner will not have.
Actually, I came first.
And aside from just being a heal, it's also an attack speed steroid. I'm not sure how relevant that is in this game. Moldiver is not really an AD carry that has a lot of value just from having that extra attack speed.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
But it is that extra little tidbit. As Tenchi might just get caught out here. He has his passive available. He can only block one CC, however, and Ragebaiters straight onto him. First blood, unfortunately, goes to the Alistar, so it's not... You know, they're not extracting maximum value out of the play, but... At least with this, Zeki will be able to buy boots, which will help him a little bit in the laning phase. Tenchi did not burn either of his summoners. He will not have to use teleport here. He will be able to get back in lane in time. Nice trade back from Spore. But Rack is completely disregarding the minion wave. Now, this is what's so toxic about this AP Nidalee pick. Even level 1, you are just able to straight up auto attack people and then heal yourself back up. With the E, the extra attack speed also grants you that extra pushing ability that you might need just to secure that level 2 and the push in the lane. No2 already getting a lot of damage in. Which is pretty much expected in this matchup. I think if you're Spore, you definitely don't want to get into a trade war versus Vanilli. But the thing is, Rack will just force you. He will just force you to trade anyway. Like the way he just positions himself ahead of the minion wave, auto attacking with reckless abandon here. The airy procs just constantly coming in. Okay, now I understand the Alistar B1 a little more if they were actually setting up for this Sylas pick later on in the draft. Now it makes a lot more sense. I'm seeing the vision from Ragebaiters. Rack getting some more harass down onto Anivia, but he is a little bit low on mana already. Is he running? Let's see. He is running Mana Full Band, but not running Presence of Mind. It is a flash that has to be burnt by Spore here, though, as a Bandage Toss would land on top of the Anivia. So that is the first summoner built burnt inside of his game, and it is going to make Spore that extra bit uncomfortable. Tenchi trying to push the wave in, but just doing that basically cost him half his health bar. Nice electrocute trait right now from Spore. Rack did not use his flash in time. He will use it in the end just to keep himself alive, but that was a good gank from Provecho. Coming in straight from the lane. Judgy Rock's flash exhaust, really desperately trying to get this Caitlyn kill on the board. Alistar will peel back nicely. There's more 2v2 action in the mid lane, and it's Provecho who secures the kill. The stun onto the Amumu. He does not have enough damage to trade back, although he does find that one final kill in the end. So it's not a complete wash for Racketeers here, but it is a very good early game sequence from Ragebaiters. It is perhaps a little bit concerning that this Caitlyn lane is falling behind in the laning phase, but you could argue that Caitlyn is not exactly the main character. At least not in this draft. I feel like it's just gonna be all about how much Vasilis can squeeze out of this draft here. What he can do with these ultimates. I feel like that could easily turn, or not exactly turn this game around, because Ragebaiters are in a good spot right now, but it could be the decider. Provecho now looking for his next target. He knows the bot lane is without summoners, but Racketeers had the vision, and they will wisely back off. Chop once again heading mid, but he will not find the target he's looking for. Spore definitely feeling the pressure. Only 23 CS this late into the game. Although now level 6 is available, so it will be easier for Spore to clear these waves out. And Brack is just unrelenting. And the harass from Anivia is just not... It's just not sticking at all. Alistar onto the Seraphine. Provecho not yet level 6, so unable to steal the Seraphine ultimate to keep the fight going. But he should be pretty close to level 6. Given the XP from the takedowns. No2 continuing with trade. Tenchi using his ult. Will Ambessa continue to keep going? Ignite not really used here. Okay. It is a bit dodgy right now, as Amumu is heading towards top lane to finish this dive, and that will be an easy kill. Curse of a Sad Mummy used as well. Just to make sure that Ambessa, you know, didn't get away there on 1 HP or something. Technically it was possible. I feel like it was overkill, but fair enough. Spore low on mana, low on HP is just not... Mid lane is not the place to be in right now. Usually, you know, whichever lane Rack is on, that's not the place where you want to be. If you're versus Racketeers. That's just a general rule. Provecho cycling through those camps nicely. I mean, that early death does complicate things a little for No2, but he still has that ignite available. And I think he still has the raw damage output to threaten Tenchi here. If he continues to trade like this. And Bessa functioning on energy, obviously, which means you can just keep trading over and over. But the cleavers are landing from Tenchi. Doing a decent job right here. His ultimate is available once again. No2 may not be in a spot where he can actually 1v1. The dragon is still on the table. 10 minutes in, neither team has really set up for this first neutral objective. Grub's already secured by Racketeers though, so that is certainly something that Mundo and Nidalee will enjoy in these later stages of the game. Nice flash ult from Judgy, forces the flash from David as well. David kiting towards the right, but Chop is here already. It's a good headbutt from Zeki. Will it be able to save the Caitlyn? The answer is no. Racketeer is still pushing forward a little bit, but one kill is all they'll get, as now the action is turning towards the dragon. Spore very low on HP, but that teleport is available. Still, I don't believe Ragebaiters are in a spot where they can realistically contest. And she taking that extra damage. But other than that, he's not really phased. Even though the matchup may seem difficult at face value, but he's doing fine right now. Basically everything is landing. Plenty of cleavers, the extra E knockback damage. Now the Warmogs is on the board for Mundo, so this will mean that Mundo will be able to trade with impunity here. Which is basically what Rack is doing right now. It has to be such a pain for a Spore just to be able to do anything in this lane. The ultimate from Ambessa whiffs, but that's still so much damage now that Ambessa has Eclipse finished. Yeah. Warmogs is a spike for Mundo, but Ambessa Eclipse might be an even bigger spike as Chop uses Curse of the Sad Mummy straight onto Spore. That obviously triggers the egg, so Racketeers will not be able to do much more than this. Is Ragebaiters looking for anything else, Spear? Spore actually getting hit by a stray Javelin from the Nidalee, but here we go with another fight as Ragebaiters engage in a 3v3, but Seraphine actually keeps the health bars relatively healthy. Silas already looking to disengage. Alistar also very low without his ultimate available. Ragebaiters in so much trouble under their own tower. Zeki can't really stop this dive from happening, and it's one kill for Nidalee, one kill for Smolder. Racketeers looking very strong in this early game once again. Got lane leads across the board, but the biggest lane lead is definitely in the mid lane. Feels like there's a Herculean task ahead of Breveccio here on Silas if he actually wants to bring this game back from the brink, because right now it already feels like we're heading towards the inevitable scenario where Racketeers will just roll over Ragebaiters in the team fights. But here comes Breveccio with an ultimate that tags both Seraphine and Viamumu, but Chop the Farmer is still full health. Counter engages back with Curse of the Sad Mummy of his own. Breveccio is not tanky enough to withstand all of the damage, and Chop the Farmer just continues to move forward. Double kill for him. Racketeers are simply too strong in these larger skirmishes and in the team fights. Meanwhile, Rack is just still being such a pest in the side lane. Feels like nothing can really stop this team from just continuing to push forward towards the later objectives. No 2 is now just straight up solo killed by Tenshi. Things just keep getting worse for Ragebaiters. We're already looking at a 7,000 gold lead. Not even 20 minutes in. We are seeing, however, a bit of a loss in tempo that Ragebaiters are trying to exploit. If they just get away with this dragon, that is a big win for them. Delaying that dragon stacking, even if they have to sacrifice Zeki for this, I feel like it's fair game. I don't think they'll be able to save him. It is 1 kill for Dragon, which I think is a trade that Ragebaiters should be willing to take any day of the week. Right now it's all about minimizing losses. Just making sure that the carries are getting as much farm as possible. Preventing Racketeers from, you know, just not giving them windows to attack. Now Breveccio actually going straight onto Chop, but he's in a 1v2 situation and he just gets one shot by Vanilli and Viamumu. You have to remember that Amumu passive gives extra damage on any of the magic damage that comes in. So that Silas with no MR is just a very easy target for Racketeers if he's ever caught out like this. $8,000 gold lead now for Racketeers. No matter where you look, it's just not, like, it's just not looking great. And if you're stuck in the side lane like this, it's just making things even more difficult for Ragebaiters. Ideally, this is a champion that just loves being in mid, able to clear waves over and over from safe positions. But when you're in a side lane like this versus the Nidalee, your effectiveness is just greatly reduced. But the lane assignments are not really changing for Ragebaiters right now. They continue to match Ambessa into the Mundo, while Anivia is stuck with a Nidalee. Now they will try to attack the Mundo. Tenshi uses his ultimate early, but the Ignite is ticking at the same time. Breveccio almost dead from all the damage that Tenshi has available. Warmog's the Heartsteel already completed. But Silas just can't deal with it at all. Ragebaiters, it feels like they just do not have an angle of attack. The early game leads that Racketeers have managed to accrue are simply just too much. No lane to play off of. No weakness to exploit, really. Viembessa, who was supposed to be leading in this matchup, is actually playing from a position where she's behind. It's just... It's not a lot of hope to be found for Ragebaiters, as we are past the 20-minute mark and Atacon was basically done on spawn. Ragebaiters are hitting mid-tier 1, but that is not where you want to be. Mid-tier 1 is just not the objective that you want to die over. You know, the desperation is setting in. Like, you want to claw your way back into things. You're trying to find blazing response, but that was just not enough of a window to try and attack mid lane tier 1 if you're Ragebaiters. You can see, we've been pretty much seeing the same scenario all game when it comes to this Anivia versus Nidalee matchup. Oh, actually, the Flash Frost from Anivia lands! That was basically max range. That forces the Rag Flash, but you see that heal. That is a roughly 10-second cooldown from the Nidalee, and she's basically full health already. Now, I know people were saying, why ban Nidalee when you can just ban Tryndamere and Renekton instead? But maybe it's time to recalibrate a little bit. Because this feels like it's just as annoying as Racketeers are once again looking for another fight. They will find another kill onto the Caitlyn. Meanwhile, Rack is taking care of things in the bot lane. Racketeers are just taking off all the boxes right now. Every time they have their ultimates up, they just look for a fight. They are successful, and they just keep taking more and more objectives until the game is no longer in a state where it can be salvaged. You could argue we've already, you know, we've gone past that point a long time ago. Potentially, basically, just completely shrugs off the Viembessa damage. It's really not a lot to talk about at this stage of the game. It feels like we are just going through the motions, just waiting for Racketeers to get that last fight that will secure them the win. Pretty sad state of affairs if you're Ragebaiters, but it's just the reality you're facing. So many of these champions are supposed to function from a game state where you're actually the one dictating the pace, but when your Kaelin is behind, your Sylas has died a bunch of times, your Ambessa is not exactly winning the matchup. It's all falling apart. Becky's trying to look for these opportunities in Eva's side lane, but it's just not working out. Spore dodges the Encore, but Chop is straight onto the Sylas. He tries to charge back onto the Smolder, but his health bar doesn't even move. And Racketeers just continue their onslaught as David now forced to flash. Tenshi is basically ignoring Ambessa as he's wailing on the tower. And the win is basically a foregone conclusion. Inhibitor's going down. Alistar could be the next casualty as Smolder flashes in. Will we see at least one kill for Ragebaiters? No! The Seraphine with the shields constantly keeping everyone nice and topped up. This is going to be Racketeers getting their 6th win of the season. David's trying to deal damage, but those auto attacks are doing basically nothing. Another kill for Smolder on the back end of this. Chop once more. They're basically just camping the fountain right now. It's just a tragedy for Ragebaiters that they have to watch their Nexus go down while they're being attacked from all directions. The Nexus finally goes down. Racketeers are on a 4-game win streak with this win.